Okay, so this is what today I have the planning. So I'm going to cover what is the Fusion application, and we are going to talk about that. What is the difference between the on-premise and cloud? So everybody is using the word as a cloud. Cloud. What is the meaning of the cloud? What is the difference between the on-premise and cloud? And what is the application architecture diagram? What is the Fusion architecture diagram we have? And what we have the enterprise structure, what we have the structure in the Fusion application. In ABS we have the multi-org structure, in Fusion we call as a enterprise structure. So what is the major difference between the multi-org structure to enterprise structure? And I'm going to cover some key features. What are the best key features are available in the Fusion application? So, and I'm going to show you what exactly we are going to cover in this particular training. This is what I have the planning. In the main well, if you have any questions, you can unmute yourself and you can ask any question. And offline people also, if you have any question, you can ask me directly. Okay. And first we'll talk about what is the Fusion application. We have the different ERP solutions. We have the Oracle EBS solution, and we have the JD Edwards, and we have the PeopleSoft, and we have the Siebel, and we have more ERP solutions like Microsoft Dynamics, and we have the more ERP solutions. Each ERP solution, they're offering that some of the features, like some of the solutions they're offering, like Oracle EBS, they're offering financial solution, and HR solution, and SCM solution. They're offering some of the solutions. Each solution, it's not up to mark. Some of the solutions we have the good advantages and good features we have the available, and all solutions is not in up to mark. If you see Oracle e-business suite, we have the famous for financials, but not from Zoom meeting. You can check, Kumar, maybe everybody here, maybe. Okay, so if you see like Oracle e-business suite, it's a famous for financial. If you go for the JD Edwards, it's a famous for the SCA, and financial also have the good features. If you compare with Oracle, so JD Edwards is the best for the SCM side. If you go for the PeopleSoft, it's the best solution for the HR. If you go for the Siebel, it's the best solution for the CRM. So each product having some good features. So here, the challenge is that any client is required for financials management and human capital management and PeopleSoft and procurement. So like the client is required from the three solutions. He is required from the three products: financial and human capital management and procurement. And here, if you see financial case, EBS is a famous, and human capital management, it's a famous for the PeopleSoft, and procurement case, it's famous for the JD Edwards. So here big question is for the client side. So which ERP is the right for me? Which ERP is suitable for me? So when it's like each product having this specific solutions, we have the good features. Single product, it's not satisfied for the all solutions. So this is a big challenge from the previous. But coming to the Fusion application, so Oracle is acquiring different ERP products. Like previously, JD Edwards is separate solutions. Right now, it is the Oracle product, Oracle JD Edwards, and right now Oracle PeopleSoft, Oracle Siebel, and EBS, as well as Oracle product only, and Hyperion is a reporting tool, and we have the Primavera. So it's for the PPM projects case, and acquiring the different ERP products and acquiring the different reporting tools and many. So many products they're acquiring, and they prepared on best solutions, that is we call as a Oracle Fusion application. So Fusion is a hybrid product. Fusion is a mixed product of different ERP tools. If you compare some of the good features they bring in the JD Edwards, some of the good features they bring into the PeopleSoft, some of the good features they bring into the Siebel, they prepare the one best solution, that is we call as a Oracle Fusion application. Okay, so this is what Fusion application. This is what Oracle is thought to implement the Fusion application. They bring in the different features, different breeds, and different pieces, and finally they prepare the one best product, that is we call as a Fusion. So the next we'll go for that. What is the difference between the on-premise and cloud? And previously we have the on-premise. In EBS, most of the implementation projects is going to be on-premise. And present, we have the two solutions. One is the on-premise, second one is the cloud. So what is the meaning of the on-premise? On-premise is nothing but that any client want to go for the on-premise, first they need to buy the infrastructure, nothing but that hardware. After that, they need to recruit the DBA persons. After that, the client need to take the license from the Oracle. So after that, the DBA person is going to install that particular license into your hardware. After that, we are going to do with our functions, and we are going to deploy the data into our own systems, our own hardwares. That is we call as a on-premise. So everything is controlled in client hand. That means the data is available in our systems. Our DBA person is going to maintain, network person is going to maintain everything. So that is we call as on-premise. So this is what we are using that the last 10 years. Most of the implementations going happen by the on-premise. But present, we have the cloud. So yeah, any questions? I'll put on the mute to everyone. Okay, so the present we have the two solutions is there. One is on-premise and second one is the cloud. So cloud case, again we have the three different licenses. One is the SaaS, software as a service, and second one is the PaaS, platform as a service, and we have the IaaS, infrastructure as a service. So in on-premise means just you can buy the hardware and take the license and you can install into your PC. And coming to the cloud case, again we have the three ways of data deployment. One is the SaaS, second one is the PaaS, third one is the IaaS. SaaS stands for software as a service, PaaS stands for platform as a service, IaaS stands for the infrastructure as a service. In right now Oracle Fusion, so I can say, so initially we have the two types. One is the on-premise and second one is the cloud. In the cloud, in the sense we have the different things is available. One is SaaS, and we have the PaaS, and we have the IaaS. So initially we have the on-premise and cloud. Nothing but that in Fusion itself we have the different versions. I can say R12. The present version is the R13. We have the total 13 versions are available in Fusion itself. The present version we have the R13 is the present version, that is the latest version. So initially Oracle is offering on-premise and cloud. So up to R12, R9 we have this solution. R12, R9 we have the on-premise and we have the cloud. These two options are available. Just give me 1 minute, guys. Just give me 1 minute. Sorry guys. So initially Oracle is offering the two ways. One is on-premise, second one is a cloud. So up to R1 to R9 we have the two offerings is there. Any client want to go for the Fusion, if you want to on-premise, nothing but that you can take the license, you can install into your PC. Otherwise you want to go for the cloud. In the cloud you can choose which offering you require, which license you require, the SaaS or PaaS, IaaS. So we are going to talk about what is the SaaS, what is the PaaS. But initially we have the two things is there. After R9, so Oracle is changing the mindset. So they are stopping to provide the on-premise. So what we have the latest versions in the Fusion. So nothing but that R10 onwards, in R10, in R11, in R12, in R13, there is no on-premise option. It is the only cloud product. Nothing but that you can go for the SaaS, PaaS, or IaaS. There is no chance to go for the on-premise. But Oracle is supporting that who are already implement the on-premise in the online. In R9, some of the clients, they implement the on-premise. So those clients Oracle is supporting. So who are already implemented from the R9 in on-premise, those clients, they're using the R13 on-premise. But new clients, there is no chance. Existing clients, they're supporting to the on-premise, but new clients, they're not offering the on-premise. So they should be go for that SaaS, PaaS, or IaaS. So what is the difference between the SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS? SaaS stand for software as a service, PaaS stand for platform as a service, IaaS stand for infrastructure as a service. Here you can see that. So any client want to move the Fusion application, they require the software package. They require the some of the package. What they require? They require the application access. They require the database access, runtime, and who is going to maintain by the middleware, operating system, virtualization, servers, storage, network. This all software package, they require that. All software package, they require that. So here, if we go for SaaS, software as a service, so here everything is going to maintain by the vendor. So here you can see that managed by me, managed by the vendor. So if you go for the SaaS, software as a service, everything is going to maintain by the vendor is going to maintain that. So nothing but the application, database, runtime, middleware, operating system, virtualization, server, storage, and network, everything is going to maintain by the vendor. Nothing but the who is going to maintain by the cloud center. So that those people are take care by the everything. Just we have the front end access. Just we have the application access. So you can able to use it. Nothing but the subscription base. How many users you require that? Just you can take it, you can use it. That's it. So nothing in our control. Everything is controlled by the vendor who is going to provide by that, who is going to offering the cloud center. So therefore everything is controlled by the vendor is going to be controlled from the in the SaaS. In the SaaS case, software as a service case, we don't chance to connect with the database. In EBS, we can able to connect with our database. So if you want to connect with our database, we can able to connect the database. But in the SaaS case, there is no database. If you want to connect with our database, there is no chance to connect with the database. So for suppose if you import that hundreds of supplier, if you import the hundreds of customer data to the Fusion application, the SaaS model, if you're stuck in any interface, if you're stuck in the somewhere, if you want to change the table name, if you want to do something, if you want to modify the something, in EBS we have the flexibility, we can able to connect the backend, we can able to modify that. But coming to the Fusion SaaS model, there is no chance. There is no database access. So here we have that front end itself, we can able to connect with our interface tables. The front end itself, suppose if you import the 100 supplier data, so if you struck something in the interface tables, if you want to modify, if you want to update the interface tables, yes, we have the chance. So we can able to connect the interface tables directly in the front end itself. We can able to modify that. We can able to update, and if you want to delete the some lines, we can able to delete. But some areas we have this flexibility, like supplier importing time, customer importing time. Some areas we have the flexibility is there. So for suppose you want to change the some table name, you want to add the some new table name, you want to do something, there is no chance in that in Fusion in the SaaS model. So if you want to modify the something, you should be raise the SR to the Oracle, and Oracle is going to modify the something based on your request. So nothing in our hand. So everything should be conducted by the Oracle. Oracle is going to provide by the support in the SaaS model, in the software as a service. There is no database access. There is no customization. If you want to do the customization, so if you want to add with the new form, if you want to do something, you want to be customize the any form kind of thing, there is no chance to do in the SaaS model, software as a service. There is no chance. So we have the report customizations are possible. If you want to be customize the report, so nothing but that. If you want to create the new report, if you want to be custom the existing report kind of thing, possible from the SaaS model, software as a service. Customization is not possible. Report customization is possible in the Fusion SaaS model. So the report customization, coming to the reporting case. So in EBS, we have the BA reports and we have the OTB reports. So these are all BA reports and OTB reports are third-party tools in the EBS case. But coming to the Fusion application, BA reports and OTB reports is inbuilt in the Fusion application. So directly within the application, you can able to connect with your BA reports. In the application, you can able to connect with OTBA reports. And if you want to modify the any reporting, yes, you can able to modify that. So that flexibility is available. That means using of the BA reports, you can create the new report. Using of the OTBA reports, you can able to change the standard reports kind of thing. So we have the flexibility. There is no dependency of the technical team to develop the reports. So we can able to generate the reports as a functional guys. We can able to easily generate the simple reports in the Fusion application. Why means BA and OTBA is available within the application. So just drag and drop. If you go for the OTBA report, just drag and drop. We can easily generate the report and all. So this is what we have, the flexibility is available in the Fusion application. Okay. So then nothing but that I can say that we have the possibility to the create the custom reports in the Fusion application. Okay, so that's what we get, and there is no database access, there is no customization. Report customizations are possible, and upgrade pages, we have the auto upgrade option is there. Upgrade case, if you want to upgrade, nothing but that. So we have the different versions. Just now we discussed, we have the 13 versions is there. So if your client is release the new version, so the upgrade, so previous version to the new version, the upgrade part will take care by the vendor only. So we don't need to be do anything, the client said. Just the new release, it will come, or automatically it's going to upgrade. The upgrade part will take care by the client only. Nothing but the upgrade part is taken by the Oracle only. Okay. So this is what we have, the SaaS, software as a service. So it is a mostly suitable from the small clients in the market. So if you go for that above average clients, it's not at all suitable. Why means there is no database access, there is no customization, nothing will be there. So it's suitable from the who are there in the small clients in the market, software as a service. If we go for the PaaS, platform as a service, you can see that application controlled by the client and database is a controlled by the client only, and runtime, middleware, operating system virtualization, server, storage, networking is handled by the vendor. Nothing but that in PaaS case, you have the application access and you have the database access. So in the PaaS, if you want to do the customization, yes, you can able to do the customization based on your requirement. If you want to modify anything, system will allow to modify that. And you have the database access. If you want to connect with your database, you want to modify the database, you want to do anything in the database, yes, that is a possible. You directly can able to connect the database, you can able to modify that in the PaaS application. So you have the database access, you can able to create the custom report, what you want, you can able to do that. So what we have the flexibility in EBS, that everything is available in the PaaS, platform as a service. Okay, so it's a suitable from the each and every client. If above average client also, they can suitable from the what we have, that all flexibilities are available in the PaaS model, platform as a service model. And we have the infrastructure, nothing but that IaaS. If we go for the infrastructure, so you have that the client having the application access, database access, runtime, and middleware operating system. So vendor is going to provide only for the storage, nothing but that. They're going to provide the infrastructure. The infrastructure is going to be handled by our client. Just Oracle is going to give that infrastructure, that's it. So the installation and everything, the middleware and operating system, the network, everything is going to take care by that our team only, our DBA team only, it will take care on that. So this is what we have the difference, SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS. Only we have the restriction, we don't have the flexibility in the SaaS. If we go for the PaaS in IaaS, we have the all flexibilities are available. Okay, so but as a functional guy, if you go for the SaaS and PaaS and IaaS, the same thing. As a functional guy, if you go for the SaaS and PaaS in IaaS, in the same things, the product will be same. But only difference is that data deployment and the data access flexibility. If you go for the SaaS, there is no we don't have the database access. If you go for the PaaS, we have the database access. If you go for the IaaS, we have the more flexibility to operate that different middleware system kind of thing. So that flexibility is that only access the data, but the product will be same. If you go for the on-premise, if you go for the SaaS, PaaS in IaaS, the product will be same. Nothing but that as a functional guy. So what we are seeing the scheme is came from the all licenses. Only thing is difference is the data deployment and data connectivity options are different from the different licenses. Okay. Any questions anyone having? You can go ahead from this slide.
Yeah, just one question. Can you just throw a light on middleware? what is it actually?
So I'm going to talk about the next level, the middleware. So we have the slide is there, architecture diagram. We'll discuss on that.
Yeah, hi Ravi. In
Yeah.
PaaS model, is it possible to integrate with third-party systems?
Yes, we can able to integrate that.
In PaaS model as well?
Yes.
Okay. So it doesn't require middleware control by the client?
So it doesn't require. So Oracle is going to take care of that. But we don't have that much of flexibility in the source. So, but still you can able to connect with any third-party system very easily.
Okay. Okay.
Any other questions anyone having? Okay. We'll move to the next slide. So again, we are using the word as a on-premise, like a public cloud and a private cloud, and we have the on-premise. So what is the meaning between that public cloud and a private cloud? And so on-premise means we know that, so our data is, everything is under control. But here again, we have the public cloud and a private cloud. So in this diagram, it will give you the clear picture. So we have the one data center. The data center is going to be shared with the multiple tenants. So we have the A corporation, B corporation, C corporation. Then nothing but the single data center is going to share with the multiple tenants. So coming to the private cloud, the data center is going to share with a single client. So you want to go for the public cloud or private cloud. So if you go for the public cloud, the shared base, you will get the access. So how many subscriptions you require, that you can take it, and based on the shared base, you can able to get the access. If you go for the private cloud, so nothing but that your client environment, it's going to use it with a single tenant. So that is the difference between that, high level difference between the public cloud and private cloud. In this license or in IaaS, how you require that, you want to go for the public, you want to go for the private. So based on the client requirement, they're going to take the licenses from this particular source and PaaS and IaaS. Okay, so this is the difference between the on-premise and cloud. In cloud, we have the source and PaaS and IaaS. In cloud, we have the one is the public cloud, second one is the private cloud access. And this is what we have, the Oracle Fusion application architecture diagram. This is a high level of the diagram from the Fusion application. So we have that top end, we have the product families. We have the different product families like Oracle Fusion, customer relationship management, CRM, financials, projects. And like we have the product families in the top end. And after product family in EBS, what happened? We have the application and we have the database. Only two layers of structure, application and database. But coming to the Fusion application, you can able to see that application, middleware, after that we have the database. Here we have the three levels of structure, you can able to see that. So coming to that applications, we know that we have the different product families. Oracle is offering the different product families like financials, HCM and PPM and SCM and procurement. We have the different product families, we have that. And after that, we have the Oracle Fusion middleware. In middleware itself, you can able to see the two things, Oracle Fusion middleware infrastructure components and Oracle Fusion middleware components. So two things is there, infrastructure component, and second one is a middleware components. So infrastructure components are Oracle Fusion infrastructure components are mandatory components. Nothing but that all together it's going to work on. Nothing but the application, Oracle Fusion middleware infrastructure components and database. This all together, this solution is going to be running. So, but coming to the, these are the Oracle Fusion middleware components are optional, not mandatory. So you cannot able to see the each and every client using these components or not. Client to client maybe is going to be different from the components case. But infrastructure components, it's a mandatory components. You can able to see the all clients. Nothing more that you can see that Oracle Fusion Enterprise Rule and Search for framework. So you can able to see that this option, nothing but that in Fusion application in EBS, if you want to go for the any page, you should be navigate that. If you want to go for the ledger page, if you want to go for the any page, you should be navigate that. You should be remember the navigation path, then you can able to reach it. But coming to the Fusion application, you don't need to be navigate anything. Just we have the search bar is there. You can able to search it. LED percentage. You can able to see that system will show the all LED regarding screens. It will show that. If you want to go for the legal entity, just you can use the legal entity name percentage. Automatically system will show that regarding the legal entity, all task it will showing that. Directly have the search bar is there. So like Oracle is using the some infrastructure middleware components in that Fusion application. It's all together, it's going to work on by the application and infrastructure components and database. Okay, so these are mandatory components are available each and every kind, but remaining all are optional. So you can able to see the application develop framework and Oracle enterprise components management. These are optional components. So based on the client requirement, they're going to use these components. Otherwise, we have the different components also, middleware components also is available. Some of the components Oracle is acquiring, some of the components we have the third party tools is there. If the client interests which middleware component they want to use from this particular area, so based on the requirement they're going to use it. There's a client to client is maybe it's going to be different from this particular middleware components. So and finally we have the database stack. Okay, so this is a high level architecture diagram in the Fusion application. Product families, middleware infrastructure components, middleware components, and finally we have the database are available on that. And then we'll go for the basically in Fusion application, it's a 7 pillars application. So we have the Oracle Fusion Financial Management and Oracle Fusion Human Capital Management and Oracle Fusion Supply Chain Management and Project Portfolio Management. In EBS we call as a Project Accounting. Here we are using the word called as a Project Portfolio Management, PPM. And Oracle Fusion Procurement. In EBS we are using the word as a SCM, Supply Chain Management. So in the meaning of supply chain management in EBS, altogether it will come. Nothing but that procurement will come, inventory will come, costing will come, and order management come. Everything will come. But coming to the Fusion application, so the both are the different. Your SCM is a different, and your procurement is a different. These both are the different offerings and the different licenses. Under supply chain management, it will come the product data master management, distribution order workstation, global order promising, and inventory, costing, shipping, and receiving. These are the things will come under SCM. So under procurement, so we have the procurement, purchasing, self-service procurement, sourcing, contracts, and supplier portal, and spend performance analysis. These are the things it will come under procurement. So here, one thing you need to be identify that both of them separate implementation, both of them separate offering. We have the SCM implementations, we have that, we have the procurement implementations, we have that, and job openings also, both of them is separate. Okay, but in EBS both of them is the same. That's what I want to be. So we have the CRM, Oracle Fusion Customer Relationship Management. We have the CRM and we have the GRC, Governor Risk and Compliance. Basically, the Fusion is a 7 pillars application. So if you coming to the Oracle Fusion Financial Management, we have the General Ledger, we have the account payable, and we have the fixed assets and payments and collection and receivable, cash management, expenses management. These are the things offerings is available under Oracle Fusion Financial Management application. Okay, so this is what we have the high level, basically 7 pillars of application in the Fusion application. So the next thing we'll go for that. Up to now, any questions? Anyone? You can go for that. Any questions? Anyone having? You can go for that. So next thing we are going to talk about what is the enterprise structure in the Fusion application. So we know that in EBS we call as a multi-op structure. In Fusion we call as a enterprise structure. So we know that what we have the multi-op structure. Just I'll be highlight. In EBS we have the multi-op structure. The top level of information is available in the business group. The business group is a top level of information. The business group is going to maintain the all employees information. But coming to the Fusion application, we have the top level of information that is we call as the enterprise structure. The top level of information is available in the enterprise structure. So enterprise structure is the top level of information. There is no business group concept in the Fusion application. The top level of information in Fusion is available in the enterprise structure level. So in EBS, we have the flexibility. Based on the requirement, you can create the multiple business group. For suppose, I have business is there in the US, I have the business is there in the UK. So I want to maintain my employees information, US is separate. I want to maintain my employees information, UK is separate. Then based on your requirement, you can create the 2 business group. So you can create the US business group and you can create the UK business group. And you can create the 2 business group, you can maintain your employees information separately from your country level. But coming to the Fusion application, if you want to create the different enterprise structures, it's not at all possible. In Fusion, we have the only one enterprise structure. If you take the one license, one enterprise, that's it. There is no chance to create separate enterprise structure in the Fusion application. But in EBS, the business groups, you can create the multiple businesses we can create based on your client requirement you can able to create. So how we can fulfill that? The same situation will come in the enterprise. Same situation we have in the Fusion. I want to maintain the employees information separately. The same situation you can take from that same example. I have the businesses there in the US. I have the businesses there in the UK. So how I can maintain the employees information? US is separate, UK is separate. Here, the legal entity definition is different. In EBS, the legal entity definition is different. In Fusion, the legal entity definition is different. So here, this is the case what happened in Fusion. So you should be create that US legal entity separate. US legal entity is separate. So I can tell that the top level of information is available in the enterprise structure. Under enterprise structure, you can create the different legal entities. You can create the US legal entity, US legal entity, and you can create the UK legal entity. You can create the UK legal entity. You can create, and at the legal entity level, you can maintain your employees information. So if I tell that enterprise structure, my employee number generation by the enterprise structure. So what are the legal entities you attach to that particular enterprise structure? Automatically, it will be default from the UK legal entity and US legal entity also. If I want to change anything, so here, if I give that some example, I'm taking that my employee number generation. Employee number generation, if I give the automatic, if I give the automatic in the enterprise structure level, so automatically it is default to the US legal entity and UK legal entity. But in US legal entity, you have the separate requirement. You don't want to go for the employee number generation as the automatic. So you want to go for separately. Nothing but that I want to go for the manually from the employee number generation from the US legal entity. For the US employees, I want to be generated manually for my employee number generation. Then you need to go for the US legal entity, then you can able to modify that. That nothing but that. So the business group flexibility in Fusion, they shifted into the legal entity. I can say that. The business group flexibility, what we have the flexibility in the business group in EBS, the flexibility is shifted into your legal entity level. In EBS, we are doing this all activities in the business group level, but here we are doing all activities in the legal entity level for your employees information. Okay, that's what I'm trying to explain here. So here we have the top level of information is available in the enterprise structure level. So enterprise structure also same thing, it will be captured like in EBS, how the business group information we captured, employees number generation, the enterprise structure name, how legally registered with the client. So these are all things we captured in the business group level. The same thing in Fusion also, the enterprise structure level, the same thing we are going to capture. But only difference you can able to observe that there is no chance to create different enterprise structures in the Fusion application. Any of the license, if you go for the on-premise, if you go for the SaaS, if you go for the PaaS, if you go for the IaaS, the enterprise structure, we have the single enterprise structure. So the enterprise structure also default from the Oracle. The structure also default from the Oracle. So you have the chance, two chances you have that. You have the update and correct it. Update and you have the correct. These are the two options you have that. So based on your requirement, you can go for the update and correct. So nothing but that update is nothing but that we have the historical information is available. So nothing but that the client headquarters is available in the US location. They shifted in the US location to the UK location. If I go for the update, the historical information is available. Previously, which location is there? Present, which location they shifted. The historical information is available if you go for the update. If you go for the correct, there is no historical information. Nothing but that something you are going to be corrected. There is no historical information is available if you use the corrected. So this is the two options we have, that update and correct. So you don't have a chance to create your own enterprise structure for the any of the license. Even on-premise also, the enterprise structure is a default from the Oracle. The default structure is available. You can go and you can, based on your requirement, you can modify that. Okay. So that's the what we have the enterprise structure in the Fusion application. After enterprise structure in Fusion, we have the concept we call as a division. These are the new concept in the Fusion application. In EBS, we don't have the division concept, but coming to the Fusion application, we have the, after enterprise structure, we have the concept we call as a division. So division is an optional concept. It's not mandatory, but it's a suggestible concept. So division is basically useful for the reporting purpose. Division is useful for the reporting purpose. If you want to generate high level of the reporting, if you want to generate the high level of the reporting, then the divisions are useful that. So the consideration point is that, for suppose the same example, you can take it from that. I have the business is there in the US. I have the business is there in the UK. So before business, you'll go for the product base. So I have the product called as a retail product. I have the product called as the infra product. I have the two products, retail product. I'm doing the business as an infra product. So here you can create the division based on the product base. You can create the retail division. You can create the infra division. So you can create the divisions based on the product base. You have the more products. You can create the more divisions you can create. So one consideration point is that based on the product base you can create the division. Otherwise, based on the location base. So you have the business in the US. You have the business in the UK. Then you can create the US division. Then you can create the UK division. You can create. So based on your requirement, you want to consider that each product as a division. Based on your requirement, you want to consider that each location as a division, each geography as a division. So based on your requirement, based on your reporting requirement, based on the client reporting requirement, you can suggest to give that product base or geography base. How the division concept is useful. So you can create the divisions based on the product base or geography base you can create. So for suppose I'm creating the divisions as well as product base. For suppose I have the retail product. Then you can create the retail division. And you can create the infra division. Once you create the division, these divisions we are going to attach it to the commonly used for the EBS flow. If I talk about that, how the reports captured by the division level, if I give the one flow, so you can create the divisions. These divisions we are going to attach it to that legal entity. This division we are going to attach to the legal entity. This legal entities we are going to attach to the ledger. So the legal entities we need to attach to the ledger. In the ledger, you have the balancing segment values, DSV values. If you have the EBS background, you can able to understand what I'm talking about that. So you have the balance segment values. Once you attach the legal entity to the ledger, then the next step, the legal entity we need to attach with the balancing segment values. So once you attach the balance segment value, this ledger and legal entity we are going to attach to the business unit. In EBS terminology, we call as the operating unit. In Fusion, we call as a business unit. Ledger and legal entity we are going to attach to the your operating unit. Under operating unit, you're going to do with the all transaction. Like in P2P cycle and O2 cycle, it is available in the under operating unit. So what are the transactions you are going to capture by that? Automatically, if I run the report here, automatically this all data will be pick up very easily. This is the reason, like you want to generate any high level of the report, then it's a suggestible concept to do the division. In the division level, we are not capturing anything. But if you run the report in the division level, everything is going to capture. That is a useful concept from the Fusion, but it's not mandatory. It's an optional concept, but suggestible concept for the each and every client. So that's what we have the division. So based on the requirement, you can create the divisions product base or geography base. Under division, we have the concept we call as a legal entity. The same EBS also under BC, you have the concept we call as a legal entity. In Fusion also, under division, we have the concept we call as a legal entity. So the legal entity, the definition will be same, but as a financial, as a SCM nothing will be different in the legal entity concept. As a financial guy, as a SCM prospective, if you talk about that, nothing will be different. But as a HR prospective, if you talk about that, so we have the lot of new features is coming the legal entity options. But as a financial, what we are seeing the EBS in Fusion almost is similar from the legal entity concept is going to capture by the taxes of your organization. So the same concept, the same definition we have in the Fusion also. So then after legal entity, we have the concept we call as a ledger concept. So ledger is nothing but the reporting purpose. The same thing in Fusion also, nothing will be changed the definition point of view. And if you want to create the ledger, we require two forces. You should be create the chart of account, and you should be create the currency, and you need to create the calendar, and you need to create the accounting conversion method. So we require the forces. Once you create the forces, then you can able to create the your ledger. The definition will be same, and if you want to create the ledger, we require to create the forces. But the creation of the forces, we have a lot of new features are coming. But coming, if you talk about the chart of account, what we have the EBS chart of account is different. What we have the Fusion chart of account is different. The name itself same, the definition itself same, but we have a lot of new features. If I give the some example in the chart of account level, just I'll give the high level of overview kind of thing. So if you take the chart of account in EBS, all chart of accounts is the global level structures. Nothing but that. The same example you can take that. For suppose you have the business in the US, business in the UK. So you have the two business. You should be create the two ledgers. Like you should be create the US primary ledger, and you can create the UK primary ledger. You need to be create the two ledgers. You need to be create. So the two ledgers, maybe currency is different and calendar is different, method is different, but the same right, chart of account should be in the same. Nothing but that the chart of account creation we are taking by the global level. For suppose you have the 10 ledgers, you have the 10 countries business. So 10 countries you have the business. We take from the 10 countries requirement, we are going to create the single chart of account. That's nothing but that we are creating the chart of accounts is the global chart of account. One global chart of account we are going to attach with multiple ledgers. So that's what we did in EBS. So I'll tell the some of the requirements. What is the gap we have that in EBS itself? So for suppose you can take from the US requirement. In US, I'm doing the two business simple requirement. I'll take from the balance segment values requirement. So in US, I have the two business. Like I have the retail business. I have the infra business. In UK, I have the only one business. I'm doing the IT business. I'm not doing the retail. I'm not doing the infra. Just I'm doing the IT business. In India, you can take from that. In India, I'm doing the three things. One is the retail I'm doing, and retail I'm doing, and I'm doing the infra, and as well as I'm doing the IT. So the three things I'm doing in India. So this is what I have the requirement. So what we can do that, this is a client client doing of the business. What we can do that, so we'll take the one global structure and we create the three segments. One like we'll create the one company segment, we'll add with three resolve values, retail value, and we are going to add with the infra. We are going to add with the infra, and we are going to add with IT. Okay, so when I'm logging with US Primary Ledger, I can able to see the retail, infra, and IT. When I'm logging with the UK Primary Ledger, I can able to see the retail, infra, and IT. When I'm logging with India Primary Ledger, I can able to see the three values. So if a client is asking in US, I'm not doing the IT business, why I need to see the IT? So in UK Primary Ledger, I'm not doing the retail and infra, why I'm see the IT? So IT business, I'm not doing the business, why I need to see that? So if the client is asking, we have the solutions like user level restriction solutions, we have that in EBS, but the seeded solutions, we don't have that. The seededly, we don't have the solution. The user level, for suppose you have the user is there, you want to show the retail and infra, we can able to do that. That is the rules is different, but the seeded solutions, we don't have that. So why means we create the one structure, the structure we are attaching with the global level, the structure we are attaching with all chart of accounts. So there's a reason we don't have we don't have to provide the solutions for the based on the ledger level. But coming to the Fusion application, we have the solution from this type of scenarios. So in Fusion, we have the one global structure. When I'm using the word as a global, it's similar like of the same thing in EBS. You have the one global structure you can able to create, multiple instance level structures you can able to generate. For suppose we have the US requirement, we can create the US instance, and you have the UK, and you can create the UK instance, and you have Same like India. So we can create the India instance. You can create the India instance. You can create nothing but one global structure. You can create the multiple instance. That is a possibility. The instance level we can able to provide this solution. Instance level we can able to change that some value sets. We have the flexibilities there. We're going to discuss our actual class, but we have the flexibilities to change the instance level. So nothing more that we can provide the some seeded solutions in the Fusion application, generating of the two level structures. One is the global level, and second one is the instance level. Just I'm highlighting the one point, like this type of futures are available, but if you take the definition, same definition, but if you go for the in detail kind of thing, then we have the different features, different things offering in the Fusion application. So that's what just I'm highlighting the one point in the ledger, but we have the some good features available in the ledger level. So after ledger, we have the concept we call as a business unit. In EBS, we call as a operating unit, OU. In Fusion, we call as a BU, business unit. The ledger chart of account concept, they bring by the peoples of concept. If you are the peoples of background people, then you can easily understand why means it's very similar like a peoples of concept. And business unit, this also peoples of concept, they bring into the peoples of concept into the Fusion application. The business unit is the most similar like of peoples of concept. So if you take the definition in the business unit, same definition, how we can suggest to the client operating unit. In the same way, we are going to be suggested to that based on the business, based on the reporting purpose. We are going to suggest to the business unit in the Fusion application also. But the thing is that we have a lot of flexibilities available in the business unit. Definition will be same, but the flexibility case, I will be highlighting 1 or 2 points. In EBS, if you take the example from the EBS, I have the different operating units. I have the 3 operating units. Assume like I have the 3 operating units. So I want to create the equation in the OU1. I want to create the equations in the OU1. I want to book the PO in the OU2. If you have this scenario, it's not possible. So nothing but that if a client is asking, I want to go for the centralized. So nothing but that my headquarter in operating unit 1. So most of the things I want to control at my headquarter, like the payments I want to control and the equations I want to control, some negotiations I want to control. So if you ask this type of scenarios, it's not at all possible in EBS. Nothing but that if I book the equation, if I raise the equation the operating unit 1, I want to book the PO also operating unit 1 only. So there is no chance to go for the operating 2 and book the PO in the operating 1 base. There is no chance. So, but coming to the Fusion application, yes, it's a possible on that. Coming to the Fusion application, it's a possible. So, in Fusion, well-matured shared service point concept is available. The share the transactional data, sharing of the transaction data. In Fusion, the equation screen is the centralized. Nothing more that you can sit in anywhere. So I'll be sitting in the OU3. I can able to book the equation. I can able to book the PO and the OU1. So the equation is a centralized. So you can sit in the centralized point, and you can raise the equation, and you can go for the negotiation, and what you want you can do that, and booking of the PO based on your requirement. And the payment scheme is a centralized. So if you take the example as a P2P cycle, the equation screen is centralized and the payment screen is centralized. Nothing more than you can sit in anywhere, you can able to make the payment of the any operating unit. In EBS also, the payment screen is centralized only. So not centralized. If you go for that in EBS, talk about that payment. So I have the 3 operating units. I have the different invoice. I have the invoice in the OU1. I have the invoice from the OU3. I have the 3 operating units invoice is there. So we have the concept we call as a PPR, payment process request. You can use the PPR. You can able to group these 3 operating unit invoice, and you can able to make the payment. So multiple operating unit invoice and multiple currencies, multiple legal entity invoice. You can able to group it. You can able to make the payment. So through the only PPR only is possible. So if the client is asking, so I don't want to go for the PPR. I want to make the quick payment. Nothing but that I can able to create the invoice in the OU1. In the OU2 workbench, the user need to make the payment. Nothing but that if I create the invoice in the OU1, so that invoice payment, I want to make the payment in the OU2 level. I don't want to go for the PPR. or what are the invoice I create in the OU1, those transactions should be visible in the OU2 workbench. Otherwise, what are the transactions I'm going to do in the OU3 workbench? Those transactions should be visible in the OU2 workbench. OU2 my is the headquarter, the centralized. I want to do with everything control in the OU2 level. So if user system should be supporting the OU2 only. So if the user want to make the payment alone in the OU1 workbench, if user want to make the payment, system should not be support. Why means that I want to make the payment only headquarter. I don't want to make the payments any other operating units alone. So if they ask this question, we can provide the solution, the user level restriction, but there is no seeded solution. There is no seeded solutions in the EBS concept. But coming to the Fusion application, we have the seeded solution from this type of concepts. But if you want to develop the shared service point, this type of concept, so we have the one prerequisite. The prerequisite, nothing but that. This all operating unit, nothing but that. BUs in Fusion, we are using the word as a BU. All BUs should be in the same legal entity and same ledger. So this particular all operating unit should be in the same legal entity and same ledger. If they're in the same BU and same ledger, then this shared service point concept is the acceptable. If the different ledger and different legal entity, it's going to be intra-company concept. It's not intra-company concept. In shared service point concept, if you want to develop, if you want to give the solution to the client, it should be in the same legal entity and same ledger. Then you can able to develop these concepts. I can say in P2P cycle, requisition screen is the centralized and your payment screen is the centralized. You can sit in the anywhere and you can able to do any activity based on your requirement. Just I'm highlighting with one point, but we have the many flexibilities is there in our BU level, business unit level. After BU, we have the item mark. So in EBS, item mark is a part of our inventory org. You can go for the inventory organization and you can create with your items. But coming to the Fusion application, item mark is a part of product management. We have the separate offering. Item mark is a configured by the product management. It's not a part of the inventory. So all item regarding item creation, item number, what you want. So all regarding item things, we are going to configure by the product management. We are not going to do by the inventory level. In EBS, we are going to do by the all inventory level. Item mark is a part of the inventory org. But coming to the Fusion application, it's a separate offering, product management. If you take the financial license, so if your client is taking the only financial license, the basic product management features are available in the financial license. Nothing but that. As a financial guy, if you want to create the item you want to bring by your invoice workbench. So it's not in the separate license. You don't need to be take the separate product management license. The basic features it will come by as a financial license only. So this is the mandatory structure from the as a financial guy. So enterprise structure, division, legal entity, ledger, BU, and item mark. So item mark is available in the product management. The basic features are available as a financial license. You can go and create your item marks and items you can create, and you can bring those items into your payables and your receivables. Okay. As a financial guy, this is the structure. But as well as if you want to receive any item, if you want to be shipped any item, then again we require the inventory org. So under item mark, we have the inventory org. So under inventory org, we have the sub inventory org, the same story. But if you talk about the inventory org and sub inventory org, so the majorly they change it by that accounting information. So majorly they change by the account things. But while creation of the in EBS case, this whole structure is a mandatory. You should be create the inventory org, you should be create the sub inventory org. Then only you can able to move to your AP. You want to be create the invoice. Nothing but that you in AR, you want to do some activity, the item you want to bring it, you should be create this all mandatory structure. But coming to the Fusion application, this is the optional structure. If you want to use the procurement, if you want to use the SCM, then only you can create with your inventory org and your sub inventory org. So as a financial guy, we don't require to create the inventory org and a sub-inventory. Just you can go for the product management, you can create the items, you can bring to the your AP and AR directly. You don't require to create. If you want to receive the item, then you can create the inventory org and your sub-inventory org, you can create that. So coming to the inventory org, if you want to highlight any points in the inventory org level, so if you remember in EBS, while creation of the inventory org, we are going to provide the all accounts like COX account, DCOX account, expense account, like all accounts information we are going to give by the inventory org level. But coming to the Fusion application, we are not going to provide any account in the inventory org level. So all accounts are available in the chart of account or source. Through the SLA only, all accounts will populated from the your particular transaction workbench. Like if you want to create the equation, you want to create the purchase order. For suppose if you want to create the purchase order, you require the approved account. The account should be come by the through the SLA. So as a procurement guy, they should be understand the SLA setups in Fusion application. If you not understand the SLA, you're not able to configure the anything in the procurement side in order management side. It's a mandatory setups. So the basic logic SLA, but in the front end we are using the names are different. Like if you want to create that purchase order, like we require to complete the tab setup, transaction accounting biller setup. If you want to create the receipt accounting setup, the name different name we are using, but logic is SLA. If you have an EBS SLA experience, it's similar like of some changes is there, but similar like of an EBS SLA. If you don't have any experience in SLA, you should be understand the SLA concept in the Fusion if you want to work on the procurement side in order management side. The what you can able to highlight on major change from the inventory of level. Any questions anyone having? You can go ahead from this particular enterprise structure. Any questions? Any questions in online from that entire structure? Okay, so if we don't have questions, we'll move to that. I'm going to talk about some key features, like key benefits in the Fusion application. What we have the key features in the Fusion application. Just I'm noted out that 5 to 6 points. Just I'll be highlight on that. So one of the key feature you can able to see that innovative embedded multi-dimensional reporting platform. What is the meaning of multi-dimensional reporting platform? I'll give you some example. In EBS, if you want to generate any report, the report is high level of the report if you want to generate. The comparison of the report you want to generate. Like I want to compare with this year expense to the last 2 years expenses. I want to compare with this year budget to the last 5 years budget. I want to generate the report. Any comparison, any high level of the report if you want to generate, most of the case we are depend upon with the third party. Within the application, very difficult to generate this type of report. Most of the cases, most of the projects we are using the Hyperion. So most of the project we are using the Hyperion. Using of the Hyperion, we are generating this all reports. So if you want to generate this comparison of the reports, what happened? So what data you require? What report you want to generate? First, the data we need to be identified. The data manually you need to send to that, your Oracle to that, your application to. If the application to that, your Hyperion. Manually you need to send it. Manually you need to send the data, then you can create your reports in the Hyperion database. You can create that. So once you are sending the data, once I'm sending some data to the application to the Hyperion, if I create any report in the application, so if I create any journal in my application, if I done any transaction in my application, the transaction information will not go to the Hyperion. Why means already you send it manually. So after that, if you create the transaction information will not go to the Hyperion. That means what are the reports we are generating in the Hyperion in the previously, that is not live reports. We are generating the only historical reports we are generating using of the Hyperion tool in the EBS case. But coming to the Fusion case, Hyperion is an inbuilt, it is not in third party tool. If I create the journal in Fusion, if I create the journal, it will go to the two areas. One is the transaction database, and second one is your Hyperion database. Directly it will go to the two areas. One is the transaction database, second one is Hyperion database. If you want to generate any report, you can directly connect with your Essbase cubes, Hyperion Essbase cubes. You can able to connect with. So this Essbase cubes using up the connect with Essbase cubes. Nothing but simple. I can say that Hyperion database you can connect, and you can able to generate any report easily. You can able to generate that. So that's the reason Hyperion is inbuilt in the Fusion application. That's the reason you can able to create multi-dimensional reporting platform. Within the Hyperion, we have a lot of flexibility. So lot of flexibility, the reporting flexibility we have a lot of, like we have a lot of tools. It is inbuilt in the Fusion application. Like one of the tool you can go for the Smart View. It is an Excel add-in, Excel plugin, you can able to say that. So directly you can go for the Smart View, and you can able to connect with your Hyperion database. Nothing but that you can able to connect with the Essbase cubes, and you can able to generate very easily what you want logic. You can easily develop. Just drag and drop base, you can develop that what report you require that. So every day you want to monitor the some expenses. Every day, if you see like as I accounted, they're much familiar with Excel sheet. So you can create what they want monitor every day. So you can develop that logic, and you can save to that your desktop, and you can share to the all accounts. So if you have the financial accounting manager, if you have the accounts, you can create that what exactly financial manager want to monitor every day. Accounts, what exactly they want to monitor every day. They can create the Excel sheet, you can share to the everyone. And once you develop the logic, no need to log in with the application. Every day they log in with the Smart View, they can refresh it. Once they refresh it, automatically balance will populate it. So no need to log in with the application. Why the flexibility is coming? Hyperion is the input. Directly we can able to connect with the Hyperion database. So in the Hyperion database is the live database. It's not a historical database. In EBS case, that is historical database. So this is a way like a financial reporting studio. So here in EBS, most cases where we are depend upon the third-party tools, and mostly where we depend upon by the technical team, they reduce that work here. So we don't require that much of technical team. If you go for the very critical report, again we depend upon that. But simple report case, simple logic development, we don't need to depend upon the any technical person. The functional guy can easily develop this all the areas. Okay. So that's what we have the flexibility in the Fusion. That's the reason we have the multi-dimensional reporting platform is possible in the Fusion application. And we have the next good key feature is that role-based dashboards. So in Fusion, most of the areas you can able to see the dashboards. For example, in AP, you have the invoice dashboard, payment dashboard, GL dashboard, receivable dashboard. Like you can able to see that most of the areas you can able to see the dashboard. The dashboard itself, which will giving a lot of information. So if I go for that AP payable dashboard, it will show that what are the invoices the whole. So in EBS, if you want to identify that what are the invoices the whole, you need to run the report. Based on the report, you can able to identify that what are the invoices the whole. But coming to the Fusion, there is no need to be run any report. Just you can go for the dashboard. Just you can refresh. You can able to see the what are the invoices the whole, what are the invoices validated, what are the invoices unaccounted. So this all information dashboard itself will give the clear information. No need to run the report, and we can take the quickly decisions. And approval process. For suppose you want to approve the some invoice, and you want to be like someone is need to approval, who is that pending approvals list. This a whole thing you can able to see in the dashboard itself. So I can say that dashboard itself will give you a lot of information without running up any report in the Fusion application. But the dashboard is a role based. The role based is nothing but that each and every user in Fusion, it's going to work on by that role base. In EBS, based on the responsibility base, we'll get the all access. But in Fusion, tomorrow class, we are going to talk about the security. So in Fusion, everything we are going to be getting the access by the role. Which role the user has based on the role base, the user can able to do the activities. The dashboards also, it will going to work on by the role base. Even Smart View also. The Smart View, what access the user having, the like the security rules, like the user, something you restricted that. Those data the user cannot able to see in the Smart View itself. Nothing but that all rules is applicable in the all areas. If you go for the dashboards, which access the user having that, based on the access only the dashboard is visible. If you go for the Smart View, which access the user having, those things, those accounts only it will populate into the particular Smart View Excel. Okay, so the user is going to work on by the role based in the Fusion application. That's what we have that. and embedded transaction intelligence. So these are means like if you see that in Fusion application, most of the areas is that diagram presentation, graph presentation, diagrammatic representation. The end user can easily understand that. For suppose if you expenses are crossing to that, for suppose you develop some logic like when the comparing with last year expenses, when the crossing the last year expenses, it should be highlighted by the red color. It should be highlighted by the something. Should be shown by the my diagram in this way. If you compare with something like once you develop the logic, it will giving the graph presentation. It will giving the diagrammatic presentation. Then the user can easily understand. The user can able to easily take the decision. So that's what we call as the embedded transaction intelligence. Like we have a lot of features like your manager want to monitor the some of the key accounts like last year expense to this year expenses, last year budget to this year budget. So when the last year budget is crossing to this year budget, you want to highlight something. So just every day he will come and just refresh the screen. He can able to monitor that what he want to monitor, and while monitoring itself you can able to compare with the previous historical data also. There's also good flexibilities available in that in Fusion application. That's what we call as the embedded transaction intelligence that guides to user decisions. And one of the good features, you can able to see the supplier invoicing, imaging integration for the supplier invoicing. But coming to this point, it's very good features like for suppose your client want to be commonly the supplier will send the invoice to the organization. So in EBS also we have the solution, but we call as a third party solution. So once the client is sending the scanned copy or client is sending the invoice by the email or something, then what happened? The manually we need to enter those invoices into our system. Otherwise, you can use the third party tool, and it will go into those invoices you are going to send the third party tool. The third party tool, the scan image, it will copy and it will be populated to the invoice into your system. So the two areas, like you want to use the third party tool, otherwise you need to add with the invoice in the manually into your system. The two process we have that. For suppose assume like 1 month you want to be add with thousands of invoices. So each month you're receiving the thousands of invoices. Entering manually, maybe it's a difficulty. And the second way, you can able to maybe thousands of invoices if you enter, maybe the user mistakes also very high. So these two cases, the Oracle Fusion is that implement that imaging integration solution. It's a seeded solution. It's not a third party. So we don't need to use any third party. So within the application itself, it is integrated, but you take the license for the imaging invoice solution. You need to take the license. So once you take the license, what Oracle do that? Just they'll give the email ID. So the client, the supplier directly send the invoice to the particular email ID, and the email ID once you send the invoices from the particular email ID, so that email ID should be hit to the some server that is we call as the IPM. So it will hit the IPM server. IPM2 we are going to be imported. So when you are imported this particular scan copies to the IPM to your application, 80% of data it will populate it automatically. It will not populate everything. Just 80% of the data like invoice number, invoice currency, and the invoice amount and the lines data. 80% of data it is automatically populated. Remaining 20% data the user can able to add it and directly it will be validated. Will be validated. So it's a very useful concept is available in that within the application. That is a imaging integration supplier invoice. So nothing but that we have the solution from the payable invoices as well as expenses invoices. For the expenses also, the scan copy itself we can able to automatically populate into our Fusion application. That is one of the good feature available in the Fusion application. So self-service reporting, already we discussed that. So we have a lot of self-service reporting. We don't need to depend upon any technical team in the Fusion application. Most of the things we can develop our own reports. Why means like in Fusion BA and O2BA and SmartView and Financial Reporting Studio, a lot of things it's in inbuilt. So which one you are most comfortable in the Excel sheet, then go for the SmartView. You're not comfortable in the Excel sheet, then you can go for that like accounting monitor and accounting inspector. Develop your logic, just drag and drop you can develop. So how you require that, but output will be same. If you go for the SmartView and Financial Reporting Studio, the output will be same. How you are comfortable on that, based on your requirement, you can use any of the option. You can develop very easily to the reports and the Fusion application. Just I'm highlighting with a few points here for the key benefits, but we have a lot of key benefits. Just I'm highlighting with a few points here. If any questions anyone having, you can go ahead from that. Any questions anyone having for up to now what we discussed? So in this training, we are going to cover the all core financial modules. So we are going to cover all financial modules. We are going to cover like general ledger, and like we are going to cover basic of the purchasing. So I want to show with mapping with PO to AP. So basic of the purchasing is going to cover, and we are going to cover account payable and account receivable and cash management and fixed asset and taxation and expenses. Okay, these are the 8 modules it's going to cover in this particular training, and some of the technical objects also is going to cover like ADFDA and FBDL. Like these are the flexibility. ADFDA is nothing but that in EBS we are using the word called as a web ADA. So the web ADA is replaced by the Infusion that is recalled as the ADFDA, application development framework. And we have the FBDL templates. Like you want to import the data, so we can use the FBDL template. And you have the Fusion security. Anyways, the security we are going to talk about the tomorrow itself. And approval process, BPM approval process, and BA reports and OTBA reports. These are the some technical stuff also it's going to cover. And each module what we are going to cover, you can able to log into the, you can go to the rainbowtraininginstitute.com. You can able to see that what we are mentioned the here points, each module, each and everything is going to cover in this particular training. The duration it will take that 45 days. It will take to cover this whole agenda. If you have any questions, anyone having, please ask me the questions. I'm ready to give the answers.
So how do you, what is the training model? Will it be a project based training? Or how do you cover? Only setups part you will cover?
No, we'll take with this. So today, if you observe that most of the scenarios, I'm taking some example, I'm explaining that. So in a way, while creation of the enterprise structure also will take with some example, a real example, and we are going to be create with our structure. We are going to be one flow on that. Any other questions anyone having? Yes, Kumar, we are going to see the paid close activity. It's one of the important thing. We are going to cover on that. Any other questions? Okay, if you don't have questions, we'll wrap up section today. So tomorrow also we'll meet in the same link and same ID. So tomorrow agenda is only for the security. I'm going to talk about the Fusion securities. So tomorrow is at our 1.5 hour class. So what we have the security level changes in the Fusion application. We are going to talk about that tomorrow. Okay. So thanks for joining. Have a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you.